Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of your journey into the world of the unseen. Now I trust that you have a pretty good feel for how the course is put together and how you will fit it into your personal schedule and otherwise very busy life, I'm sure. I'm on the East Coast to remind you, and we are 3 hours ahead of you. My announcement says 2 hours, but we changed clocks. Um, So we are right now 3 hours ahead of you in Arizona. I'm not usually up to grading assignments at 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. Your assignments are due no later than 11:59 p.m. I always say GCU time because my understanding is Arizona has two different time zones, but it's Phoenix time, Grand Canyon University time. Right now, we're 3 hours ahead of you there. Um, so, anyway, my point is I start grading assignments on Monday. I'm doing that today. So, when you check on Monday, you may see a big red overdue banner in your grade book for some assignments. Don't panic. It just means that I haven't transferred your grades yet. There is no integration between Connect and Halo. So I have to manually move the grades over from Connect to Halo. I do that on Monday. So don't freak out when you see overdue. You don't have to message me or email me and say, Jeffries, I know I did my assignment. What's going on? Can you check it? I know. Okay. As soon as I transfer your grades over, it'll update. So just be patient. So this week we touch on one umbrella topic, and that's microbial growth. All of the information comes from Chapter 4 in Nesters. There are a number of important subtopics, however, and they include microbial reproduction. Now, bacteria reproduce asexually. So anytime in science, anytime you put a or an on the front of a word, it usually means without. So sexual reproduction means male female. Asexual reproduction means no male, no female. It just the organism, in this case bacterium, the organism just reproduces on its own. It just divides. Okay, so in other words, there are no male and female. Bacteria simply split into two identical clone cells. The process is called binary fission. Fission means to split apart. Binary means two. So we take that one initial cell, we call it the parent cell, and it duplicates its genetic information, right? Its genome, and then it splits. It sends one chromosome to the left, one chromosome to the right, and it splits in the middle so that you get two identical cells. We call those daughter cells, and that has there's no connotation to gender there. We just call this is just old school. We call them daughter cells, and that term has stuck for many, many years. So one parent divides into two daughter cells, right? We call that process binary fission. So you want to pay particular attention to the generation time. So that's the time it takes for one cell, one parent cell, to physically divide into two daughter cells. Now, bacteria do this very, very quickly, and hopefully you appreciate how fast pathogens can overwhelm the immune system. For example, E. coli, just normal, regular, benign E. coli, takes about 20 minutes. So for one cell to divide into two takes about 20 minutes. When that happens, the population effectively doubles, right? One cell divides into two. Those two cells will then divide into four, four into 8, 16, 32, like that. It keeps going. So every time a generation time passes, 20 minutes in the case of E. coli, the population doubles. So if you start with 100 cells, in 20 minutes you're going to have 200 cells, and then 20 more minutes you're going to have 400 cells, and then 800 cells in less than an hour. So you can see how fast bacterial pathogen can overwhelm the human immune system. So just be aware of that and pay attention to that generation time. Okay, biofilms is the other subtopic. Biofilms, now many colonial bacteria grow as mats or films on a susceptible surface. We call those mats biofilms. You're familiar with them, the slippery films that grow on the side of swimming pools or bathtubs that don't get cleaned regularly, that slimy film, that's a biofilm. That slippery, slimy film that forms on your teeth overnight, you know it as plaque. Yep, that's a biofilm. So I posted a link from Ed Uniphysics Astro talking about, it's a short video talking about biofilms. And then you have microbial growth in the lab. So how do we study microorganisms? Well, we have to culture them in the lab. Now, you'll learn about the importance of the streak plate. And in fact, you'll do your own streak plate next week if you're taking lab. I think most of you are. You'll do your own streak plate. And so you'll learn about the bacterial growth curves as well. And then finally, factors that influence microbial growth, including temperature. If it's too hot, some bacteria don't grow. If it's too cold, some bacteria don't grow. If it's too light, not enough oxygen. If it's a dry environment, not enough water. You'll learn that the optimum conditions for human pathogens is warm, moist, and dark, and that makes the human body the perfect incubator for microbial pathogens, because inside, obviously dark, it's very warm, 96.8 or 98.6, it's 37C, that's what I remember it as, 37 degrees Celsius, very warm, and it's very dark, and it's obviously very moist. And so when you culture your bacteria next week, right, you get the moisture in the medium, either the broth or the agar dish. There's moisture in there. But when you grow your bacteria, when you culture them, you want to put them in a dark, warm place in order to incubate them properly. All right, housekeeping items for the week. Make your topic 2 discussion post no later than this Friday. That's August 7, 11:59 p.m. GCU time. Now, as we get into this week, as we now move from kind of introductory stuff and hey everybody, here I am, this is my name, this is where I'm from, and this is what I like to do in my pastime. Now we need to start to think about the topic, microbiology, and what the prompt is asking you. So read the prompt and you respond to the prompt. A proper discussion post or peer response is at least 150 words. I do count words, and at least one authoritative reference. Authoritative reference can be your textbook, Nestor's, but preferably the most authoritative references. You can do anything from NWO and CDC and all that, but the most authoritative references are from the horse's mouth. And where you get that information, or where you get those sources, is through peer-reviewed journal articles. I put a video tutorial in class resources that teaches you how to search the GCU digital library for peer-reviewed journal articles, and sort of the default is no greater than 5 years old. You want the most current, but I will take up to 10 years old. unless you're doing some historical reference, if you got something from 1992 or 1985, those don't count as authoritative, okay? So no less than 10 years old, peer-reviewed journal articles, most authoritative. Now, you want to make sure that you provide the reference and also the in-text citation. I posted a document, Jeffrey's Guidelines for Discussion post, in class resources. Check it out, refer to it often. It shows you the right way to do a post, the wrong way to do a post, and I give you a list of guidelines. We are following APA, that's the American Psychological Association 7th edition guidelines. If you're not sure about those, there's a book. I have the book. I wish I could show you. My camera's not working. But you don't need the book. It's apastyle.apa.org. If you go there, you can find the latest reference guidelines, or the latest guidelines for formatting references and also parenthetical citations. So you want to make sure you have both your references listed, and you want to make sure that you cite those within your post. Okay, so Friday is your initial post, and your peer responses no later than Sunday, August 9th. By the way, the earlier in the week that you get your post done, the better you are able to work within the guidelines of the discussion. The better you're able to respond to your peers, and they can respond to you. If you wait until 11:45 on Friday to do your initial post, it really doesn't give anybody time to engage you in the discussion. So the earlier the better. Of course, I cannot charge you if you wait until 10:45 on Friday night. You get full credit, but you're just not able to effectively engage in the discussion, which will come back to bite you when I assign participation points. All right. Peer responses no later than Sunday, August 9, 11:59 p.m. GCU time. You must do 3 peer responses before the end of the week. Okay, 2 peer responses on 3 different days. So that means you're responsible for a total of 6 peer responses through the course of the week. See, that's what I mean. If you wait until the last minute, you cannot get all of those done. 6 peer replies over the course of 3 days, 3 different days. You don't want to do all 6 on one day. The guideline, this is from GCU, this is not from Jeffries, is 2 posts on each of 3 different days for a total of 6. That's how you earn your full participation points. All right. Now, I did add an additional prompt if you want to earn some additional participation points. Here you do not have to respond. Now, in the regular discussion, you have to respond to peers. In the optional discussion, you still have to do the others, by the way, but in the optional, you do not have to respond to your peers, and you have until Sunday, August 9, 11:59 p.m. To turn those in. My announcement here says 11:50, but it is actually 11:59. Okay. Pay particular attention to due dates on all of your assignments. Proper credit can only be given for complete and timely submissions. Any questions, issues, problems, contact me as soon as possible. 804-229-7993. That's message me. Include your name and your course. This you can say Bio 205, or I prefer Micro 205, but whatever. You can contact me using your Halo message box or inbox, whichever term you prefer there. Those are the 2 quickest ways to get a hold of me, and then certainly you can use snail email, jonathan.jeffries@my.gcu.edu. All right, that's all I have. Check out that video on biofilms. and let me know what's going on. I'll be updating your grade books momentarily. Have a great week.